Hey guys, what's up? Johnny Kinswater here with Concert Addiction, kicking off my top 10 video series, even though this video does not contain any of my top 10. I did go to 35 concerts this past year, gonna be 36, but sorry Chris Calico, I have to leave you off, even though I probably will be seeing you on New Year's Eve. Got to get these videos made, so even if his performance does end up being one of my favorites, sorry about that, but that recap will be up as soon as I go to that concert. But before I get into the top 10 video series, I'll explain that. There's about 11 days right now left in 2017. 2018 is right around the corner. So starting tomorrow, every day until the end of the year, I'm going to drop a video talking about my top 10 favorite concerts that I went to over the past year. There's a lot of variety in there. Almost every kind of genre of music is in there. I go to a lot of concerts and things like that, so the variety's covered and all that. So it's going to be one concert covered in each video a day till the end of the year, until I get to my number one. But like I said, I went to 35 concerts this year, and I didn't go to a single bad concert this year. I had a blast at all of them. They were all fun. So I just want to make a quick little recap slash honorable mention kind of deal, talking about some of the videos that won't be included in this video. I'm also going to make a separate video that will also go up tonight that's just me talking strictly about concerts at the Grizzly Rose, because none of those cracked my top 10 either, but there's a good handful of those ones by themselves, so I don't want to include them in the honorable mentions. I'll make a Grizzly Rose exclusive video. So we'll start with some that I don't quite consider honorable mentions. I'm going to try to name every concert that I went to throughout this video series. So these are some of the ones I went to that didn't quite make it there for me, but I'm going to mention them anyways. Roger Waters tops this list. One of my all-time favorite bands is Pink Floyd. I got Pink Floyd shit all over the house. I smoked a lot of pot in high school, so Pink Floyd was my shit, still is my shit. I just felt that concert was a little too political for me. I kind of think you should keep that kind of shit out of concerts, but that's just me. There's a recap up for that on my website that I will plug at the end of this video. I also have Eric Church, a concert which I enjoyed, which was at the Casper Events Center for his Holding My Own tour, which was billed as Holding His Own. He had no supporting acts. It was just him. He opened for himself, so he played 2 sets. He played acoustic at the beginning, then went to intermission, then came back with his full band and did the rest of the show. I don't have a single problem with that concert because I got to go to it for free, but if I was someone who paid for it, I'd be pretty pissed off because he was over, I think he was like an hour late. He rushed through the first part, didn't sound that good, even though I enjoyed it. And he just didn't really seem like he really wanted to be there a whole lot. Seemed like he was phoning it in. I don't really think he cared about being in Casper, Wyoming. Nonetheless, I still had fun at the show, but I would be a little upset if I'd paid for it like a lot of people there did. Chase Bryant. He's on this list a couple times, actually, because I saw him 3 times this year. After he played with Brad Paisley at the Pepsi Center, he went across town, or not across town, down the street to a little bar and did an after-party show. And so I put that on here, too, because that counts as his own concert. So he's fantastic. I love that dude. Michael Martin Murphey, every year he plays like 25 shows or something during Frontier Days here in Cheyenne. He sets up and he plays 2 shows a day throughout the duration of Frontier Days. And so I sat through a full one of his shows and it was outstanding. Super well-talented performer. For someone who's not as relevant as he should be, he held his own perfectly in that. Gin Blossoms played in Fort Collins this year for the Taste of Colorado, or the Taste of Fort Collins. That was a very fun concert, but nothing too extravagant. Same thing with 38 Special. They played at the Taste of Colorado in Denver. That was cool, but the lead singer was kind of pushing his own shit more than he was pushing 38 Special shit. But that's okay. Didn't take away from it too much. Scorpions and Megadeth played at the First Bank Center. I saw that a couple months ago, I think it was. And that was a fun show, but there was nothing super over-the-top good or over-the-top bad. It was just a fun show. And Trans-Siberian Orchestra, I saw them for the first time last year, and had I saw them for the first time this year, I probably would have liked it better this year, because last year I saw them and I was completely blown away. I was in love with it. It was amazing. And then this year it was the same, it was pretty much the same show. but it was still just as good. It just didn't have the impact for me personally, but it was still an outstanding show. That recap's up on the channel now. Now I'll get into my serious honorable mentions. I tried to narrow it down to 10, but I have 11 here, so bear with me. I'll try to just belt through and be real fast. Brantley Gilbert and Tyler Farr opened Frontier Days this year, and that was my third time seeing Brantley Gilbert, first time seeing Tyler Farr, and it was a phenomenal show. Being kind of outsider country music, both of those dudes, they really brought the party for real. I have nothing to bitch about the shows, no complaints whatsoever. It was a fantastic performance from both of them, and I got to meet BG after the show, and he signed the back of my Concert Addiction t-shirt, which is kick-ass. The Colorado Music Hall of Fame wasn't really a concert, but I considered it because it was mostly a concert. It was a PBS special that we actually went to live. The Colorado Music Hall of Fame does an induction ceremony every year, and this year they did it at Fiddler's Green. And the people on this bill included Michael Martin Murphey, who I mentioned earlier, but also Garth Brooks was there. The Lumineers were there. Hall & Oates was there, or one of those guys was there. A whole bunch of people were there. They weren't playing their music, though. They were paying tribute to the people that were inducted into the Hall of Fame. They had a lot of stuff. Inducted was Dan Fogelberg, Joe Walsh, and Joe Walsh was there and put on an awesome show, which was phenomenal, and I wanted to put it on his list, on the top 10 list, just because of getting to see Joe Walsh play Rocky Mountain Way in the Rocky Mountains, but it didn't quite get there. Garth Brooks was there, played tribute to Dan Fogelberg, which was amazing. Show was a lot of fun, but didn't quite crack the top 10. We also got Steel Panther. My brother took me to that show. It was phenomenal. They had a guy opening for him, or a band called MF Ruckus, which was a party too. They were really good. Steel Panther brought out Derek Wolf from the Denver Broncos, and Cowboy Cerrone at the end of the show, and they played Don't Stop Believin', and that's something I always remember because it was really fun. Jason Derulo and Flo Rida played at Frontier Days also, and although that show started like over an hour late because Flo Rida forgot where he was going, I guess, and just didn't show up, once we finally got there and got the show rolling, it was a real fun show. It was a blast. I volunteered at that concert, and it was a lot of fun. Santana played at Red Rocks. I got to see that one for free too because I had someone hook me up with tickets. And that was a super fun show. We did the whole thing by himself, played for a couple hours, didn't have any opening performance. And it was cool getting to see a living legend like that. Definitely checked him off my bucket list. I just felt like it didn't really do anything super over-the-top crazy for me. Satisfying as hell, but nothing to really put it above any of the concerts that I chose for my top 10. Dan and Shay, that video's up on the YouTube channel now. They played with Brandon Ray at UW. Fun show, not a country show as it was billed, and as they are technically country artists. Nonetheless, great fucking show. Went with my best friend. We had a fucking blast. Pop Evil, Red Sun Rising, and Bad Flower. I saw them down in Denver with one of my other buddies in February, and that show was a party nonstop. All three of those bands kicked ass. I'd never heard of Bad Flower before. That was like my third time seeing Pop Evil. They kicked ass like always. It was a super fun show, but like I said, it wasn't anything too crazy. When you go to 36 concerts in a year, picking a top 10 is super fucking hard, as you can imagine. So as much as I'd like to see that on there along with this next one, and that would be the American Made Tour featuring William Michael Morgan, Lee Brice, he was opening for it. William Michael Morgan was a support. Lee Brice and Justin Moore were the co-headliners. Two of my favorite artists, country artists of all time, probably just artists of all time. I relate to their music. I love their music. I love both those dudes, and that show was amazing, but first, it's another one I wish I would have made like a top 15 list. It would have been so much easier, but I didn't. Warrant played a free show at the Greeley Stampede. Me and my buddies went to that one, and partied, and it was super fun for a band that's been around forever but only has a couple hits. They really know how to hold the crowd down for real, and that recap is up on my website. You can read it there. That was before I was doing the videos. Vince Neil, Motley Crue's my favorite band of all time. Saw Vince Neil for the 6th time live, 2nd time on his own, 4 times with Motley Crue. This is the 2nd time I've seen him on his own. Saw him at Elitch's. Second concert I saw at Elitch's. One of those is going to be on my top 10. But Vince Neil, I have to put him on my honorable mentions just because he's singing some of my favorite songs of all time. His show, however, didn't really do anything that crazy. He had very little crowd interactions, things like that, but he sounded as great as he always does. His band did the Led Zeppelin tribute thing where he leaves stage and his band just plays Zepp songs for like 5 minutes, so he did that and that was cool, whatever. It was pretty much the same show last time I saw him solo, but because he is my favorite of all time, or he's from my favorite band of all time, I have to give him an honorable mention. And the final one is going to be a concert, which I won't go too much into because there's a recap for it up on the channel now, but that would be KBPI's Mistletoe Jam featuring Papa Roach, In the Whale, and Falling in Reverse. Fantastic show, some of my favorite music of all time. Not only from Mötley Crüe, but also is from Papa Roach. Their music is just so personal to me, so I had to put it on my honorable mentions list, even though it didn't quite crack the top 10. So that's all my honorable mentions. I tried to power through it. That's actually all the other concerts that aren't included in the Grizzly Rose or the top 10. So the back half of this little spiel I just did was my honorable mentions. I mentioned every concert off the top. Like I said, I didn't go to a bad show this year, and I really wish I could have squeezed more of these shows into my top 10 list, because it's super hard to pick, and like I said, every concert this year was fan-fucking-tastic, so looking forward to going to a bunch more next year too, though because of things in my personal life I won't be going to as many, but nonetheless, so make sure to, nonetheless, I'm going to have a kick-ass 2018, I'm sure, too. So, make sure to keep your eye out for the top 10 videos dropping from now until the end of the year. Grizzly Rose one should be up tonight. Till then, make sure to check out my Facebook page or my website and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.